Hello and welcome to the next edition of the BobCAD-CAM webinar series. Today's topic is reporting and posting, day 3 of a 3-day webinar series. Hopefully you guys made it through all 3 days. Let's see what we got here. All right, today's webinar, what are we going to cover? We're going to cover common reporting and posting features you'll use every day. As you know, my name is Al DiPaolo. I'm the voice of the BobCAD After Dark video series. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on message boards, and you can find me right here at BobCAD. All right, let's see. What are we going to learn today? Today we're going to talk about reporting tools, okay? Once you get a job set up, you've set up your stock, you've programmed some features, now you may want to get some information about the job, maybe how long it's going to take to run, distance traveled. You may want to run some simulations, what's your stock. So we're going to go through a lot of the common everyday features you'll use to get a better idea of what's going on with your job and different ways that you might be able to improve cycle times or to find leftover material or just to be able to tell what's going on. All right. And as always, you can expect fewer steps, better cuts, and more profit. Now, if you guys have any questions, just give us a call, 877-333-4903. That's 877-333-4903. Now, while I get my screen set up here, just a quick shout out, who you are, where you're from, what software you use, what kind of machines you have. Just get a little information about who we're working with here today. All right. Let's see here. David is coming from Minnesota. We have Steve from Dallas. Let's see. Who else do we got here today? We got Scott from South Carolina. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for spending some time with me here today. Again, this is day 3 of our 3-day series. We got Richard in Pittsburgh. We got Jeremy in Dayton, Ohio. Mike's in the UK. Again, I want to thank all of you for spending some time with me here today. Now, the last webinar that we did, I kind of ran out of some time going through some of the machining features. So just real quick, if there were any questions that you guys had from last week's webinar about any of the machining features or options, go ahead and type that in the questions area, which is how you communicate with me. All right, so any questions from last week, go ahead and fire those along. And then before we get started in today's topics, any questions that you guys have about reporting and posting that you may want to see me cover today. I do have a number of different talking points, so I'll get right into those. But if there is a specific question or comment that you have about posting or about reporting, just go ahead and fire away, and I'll do my best to address it as we get through today's webinar. All right. Now, to begin with, a couple of things that I want to go over here. So we have our part. We programmed it. We have our toolpath features. Last week we talked a lot about the user-defined machining strategies. We talked about the job tree templates, the document templates, work offset patterns. Okay, so there's a lot of different things that you can do in the software. The first thing that I want to talk about is verify tool assignment. Okay, so where is it, right? So where is verify tool assignment? So you have a job set up in your tree here. Okay, and then there's going to be a section called milling tools. All right, if we right click on our milling tools, what we're going to see is our verify tool assignment. All right, so I recommend whether you're a new user or whether David, NextWave, I think, uses WinCNC. We definitely have a WinCNC post processor. Okay, so you got a job set up. You programmed it with all the different tools that you're using. Okay, so now you want to verify what tools that you've used and what tool numbers are being used. Okay, so this is a step I recommend for new users prior to posting, right? So you get a job set up here. These are all our different operations. If we're going to post this, we can come over in the milling tab here, or the turning tab, you can come over and you can post this, and then this is going to go ahead and write all the G code for that job, right? Okay, so we get all our G code over here. But before we go ahead and post it, we may want to verify what tools and tool numbers that we're using. So I do recommend prior to posting, you right click on your milling tools and you come down to where it says verify tool assignment. Okay, using verify tool assignment, you're going to be able to see all the different tools that are listed in your job. It will also have a description of the tools. Okay, so you have the tool number, tool diameter, tool type, you have the tool label. Now at this point, what you can do is you can either use the automatic numbering, which BobCAD will number your tools 1, 2, 3, 4 as you call them, okay? Or you can uncheck use automatic numbering, and then this will use the database numbers for the tools, okay? So if that tool exists in the tool library, it will use the tool number from the tool database. Now at the same time, you can also come in here and you can click through and type in whatever tool number you may want prior to posting. I know a lot of shops have dedicated tooling. You can set up the job with all your tools, not really worry about the tool numbers too much. Use the automatic numbering if you're going to set up the job as you go, or if you have dedicated tool stations, you can come in here prior to posting and update all your tool numbers as needed. Okay. If there's any questions about verify tool assignment, go ahead and fire away. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay. All right. Now, again, we've set up a job. We used a bunch of tools. What I want to do is right click on our milling tools, and I want to go to the tool crib. Okay. So inside of the tool crib here, this is showing you all the active tools that are in the job. All right, you can click through on each of the different tools. It will show you a preview of the tool and the holder. All right, so this is all your tools, or all the tools that we're using in the job. Now, the reason why I bring this up is you do have the ability to import a tool crib at the beginning of a job, or you can save out a tool crib at the end of a job. All right, so this way you can group tools together that you may use on a regular basis, or tools that are specific to a certain job that you run. You could save that tool crib to that job number. Now you can save tool cribs for 2D milling, you can save it for turning, mill turn, 5-axis. Again, depending on what type of job you have, the tool cribs are a little bit different. But again, I wanted to touch on this. Once you get a job set up, you can go to your tool crib. This will show all the tools that are being used in the job. Again, the tools and numbers. There's a visual display of the tool and the tool holder. And you can save this tool crib out at the end of a job. And before you start a job, you could import a tool crib of some standard tooling. Okay. All right. That's a little bit about the tool crib. If there's any questions about that, go ahead and fire away. Otherwise, we're going to move on to the next one. Okay. So we have, again, we have a job set up. All right, if we want to verify our tools, we can come over. Now, as a 32 user, we do have CAM tree Flyout, so I'll touch on that real quick. You'll see these little arrows next to items within your tree. This is going to fly out different information about the job. Some of these settings you can update. Again, if we hover over our tools and we use the flyout, this is, again, going to just display the tools that are currently being used. All right. All right. So we have a job set up here, and you can see we have different features of our job. We have a face cycle, outside roughing, pilot hole, inside pocket 1, inside pocket 2. All right. Now, because we're a feature-based CAM system, some of these features may contain one operation, but a lot of times these features will contain multiple operations, you know. You didn't see me go through in the previous videos the finishing routines, but you can see on this outside profile I have a rough. I'd probably come back with a finish as well. I also didn't show any deburring, so I didn't show any chamfer cycles or anything like that, right? So these features are associated to geometry, and they can contain multiple operations for roughing, for finishing, and for edge breaking. Okay, the reason why I bring this up has to do with machining order, the order in which the operations are going to be posted in. Okay, so there are a couple of different sections that you can do, or a couple of different optimization types that you can utilize for your machining order. Okay, so if we come under the milling tab here and we go to machining order, this will bring up the machining order dialog. Okay, this dialog will list out all of your operations. Okay, and it has some optimization types. Okay, you have individual feature. Okay, by individual feature, this optimization type will post out your operations in the same order that they are in the tree. Okay, so that's the first one. Now, I do recommend, as a new user, that this be your initial optimization type. And the reason why I say that is as you're creating your job, you're building it out step by step in the tree. So this is the order that the items are in the tree is the order in which it would post in. Okay, so again, under machining order, we can set this to individual feature. We can choose OK, and then it's going to post those operations in the same order that they are in the tree. Okay. The other option here is individual tool per machine setup. Now, this is probably more commonly called tool dominant posting. So what happens is it will start on the first feature and or the first operation, and it will see that tool, and then it will look through the rest of the job tree to see other instances of where that tool was called. Okay, and it will post them together, posting your roughing cycles with your roughing cycles, your finishing cycles with your finishing cycles. Okay, so this is called tool dominant, or what we call individual tool per machine setup. And then what this will do is limit tool changes. So you can see it put our rough routines together. And usually the roughs and the finishes is how that goes, right? So individual tool will organize the posting based on the order the operations, features, and operations are in the CAM tree. Okay, individual tool per machine setup. This will optimize the CAM tree for tool dominant posting, so that way you're posting the roughing tools with the roughing tools. Okay, the last one here, you'll notice this is individual tool per machine setup. This is individual tool. Okay, in our example, I didn't get to putting an additional machine setup location in there. A lot of times you may have 54, 55, and 56 set up on the part, and the part may be in different orientations in each setup. Okay, individual tool per machine setup would be tool dominant for that setup. Individual tool is tool dominant across all setups. Okay, so individual feature, the order the features are in the tree. Individual tool per machine setup, tool dominant per setup, individual tool, tool dominant across all setups. Okay, so that's a little bit about the machining order. Now, I did want to touch on real quick, if I get into the settings dialog here, let's see. Settings, okay. Current document, let's see where it is. Default, let's go to default. And CAM. Okay, so the reason why I'm getting to this section here is you can default what that machining order is. So for your milling jobs, you can set it to whether you prefer by feature, tool per setup, or tool dominant across all the jobs. Okay, so if you're using the software and you prefer a specific machining order optimization, you can go into settings, and then you can default what that optimization type would be. All right, so let's go ahead and cancel out of that. If there's any questions about machining order, go ahead and fire away. Just a couple of other things that I want to talk about in the CAM tree here real quick. Okay, so if I right click on my machine setup and I go to blank unblank, what that will do is turn the visibility of the toolpath on or off. Okay, when it's turned off, you'll see an eye with a line through it. Okay, if I come back and I say blank on blank, you'll see that they all come available, or they're all visible. Now, you can right-click on your machine setup and go to blank on blank toolpath, and then in order to display the toolpath, if you click on any of the operations, those will become visible while you've highlighted or selected those. Is there an easy way to move an operation from last to first? Okay, so this is a good question. Let's go to our machining order. Okay, we're going to set this by individual feature and choose OK and choose OK. That means the order in which we're going to post is going to be the order in which the features are in the tree. If I post this right now, our first operation is going to be that facing routine. Okay, there's we'll see it right here. This says mill face. Okay, so if I wanted this operation to be last, I could come to this feature here and just drag it down in the tree. Now, usually first or last, sometimes you got it, like, it probably won't let me bring it all the way down to the bottom. So I'm just going to bring it just above that one. And then I'll move this one above, or maybe this one down from there. Okay, so that one goes all the way down to the bottom. Okay, if I repost this job, instead of that first routine being the face mill, it'll be this outside roughing. Okay, so you can, if you're posting by, and you can see outside roughing right here. So if you're doing feature optimization or individual feature, you can drag and drop these guys. And this is probably what I was talking about. Let me see if I can get it up to the top. See, it doesn't go quite up to the top, so I just go one above it, and then I can drag it down. So that's one way. If you're posting by individual feature, again, you can drag and drop these into different orders. Now, that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is just go to the machining order dialog here, click on the one that you want to reorganize, and you can just arrow this down. Okay, so I can move this up or down in the list as I want. Or the other thing you can do is you can click and hold, and you can drag it down to the bottom too. Now again, you know, it doesn't let me go all the way down to the bottom, so I'll go to there, and then I can move this one above. Okay, so that's another way in which you can move something in order regardless of your optimization. The whole point of the machining order dialog is for you to be able to move things up or down. All right, so that looks pretty clear for you. All right, so we talked about blanking and unblanking. The other thing you can do, you can right click here and you can do post yes, no. And that will put a red X through it. So the I with the line through it means that it's blanked. And then the red X through it means that it's turned off. So if I try to post all these right now, I'm not going to get any code because I don't have any operations turned on or any features or their operations turned on. If I right click on one of these and turn it on, okay, and then I repost, then I'll just get the facing routine here. Okay, so that's all I get is the facing routine because that's the only one that's turned on. Okay, if I right click, turn this one off, maybe I just want to look at the Z level finish. I can right click, turn that one on. I can post. Okay, so now it's just posting that single operation. Okay, I can go to the tree, right click, post yes, no. I can turn them all on or I can turn them all off. Okay, so that's a little bit about the tree here. The machining order, the visibility, and turning operations on or off. Now, the next thing that I want to take a look at here has to do with a setup sheet. Now, depending on your shop, you know, how much work you have go through your shop, documentation is a pretty important process, whether you're quoting jobs or whether you're just running the jobs. Okay, so with the BobCAD system, you do get some setup sheets that you can print out. Now, these are customizable. This is an XML document that goes to HTML, I believe, so it shows up in a web browser. And then there's some generic ones that we've set up. You can go in and customize this. It could just be the tool list or a full setup sheet. Okay, this will take a second to calculate. What it will do is open this up in a web browser. Okay, and this has a bunch of information about the job. It has things about number of operations, number of tools, number of setups, the cycle time estimate. This number is a little crazy, but we'll go in and make some adjustments and see how that changes. Cutting distance, rapid distance. This is the min-max of the material for the setup. These are all the tools that are being used. These are information about the tools. Usually I expect to see things like speeds and feeds for them. Okay, so this is just the tool list at the top. This is just listing out all the tool numbers. And then we get into each of the different operations and then, the cycle times and the feed rates for it. Again, this is very useful for either running the job, but it's also useful for quoting. You look at material removal rate, regardless of what these feed rates are, you're looking at the feed distance and the rapid distance. This is telling you how far it's got to travel. Again, you can utilize that information to help you with quoting and to be able to understand your planning in production. You do not have to recompute the toolpath when you turn the toolpath on or off. It's just an on or off switch. Okay, so that is a little bit about the setup sheets. This is a full setup sheet. Again, it lists out the cycle times for each one. There are other ones that you can use. Let's do this. This is going to be just a tool list. Let's see what this one looks like. Okay, so this is a simple tool list, and it has some information about what tools are being used in the job and what category. And again, that is customizable. All right, so that is a little bit about your setup sheet and ways that you can use that and the information that that provides. Okay. All right, the next one I want to look at is ToolPath statistics. Okay, so if we go to ToolPath statistics here, this is going to break out your whole job tree. It's going to list out all the different features. It's going to list out the different operations. You can go to each individual one. It gives you time analysis, the extents of it, the entity count, so you know how many moves are being made up there, spindle speed, and cutting feed rates. Okay, so what I want to do real quick, I'm going to go in, and we know the cycle time right now is, let's see. So the cycle time for the job is set to, it's 3 hours and 37 minutes, right? That's what it's set to right now, based on the speeds and feeds. What I'm going to do is come in here and I'm going to edit this material. I'm just going to load a different material. I think most of the tools I have set to system speeds and feeds. So I'm just going to load a different material here. I'll come back to the job. Okay, and we can see now it's down to 1 hour and 31 minutes. Now, in no way do I think that's a reasonable time to program this part, but I also didn't really spend the time to go in and to optimize it and to look at what my settings were. Dave's got a question here. How difficult is to customize a simple tool list? It'd be nice to have something simple, landscape orientation. There is a video on it. It's an XML document. I don't think it's super difficult to do. CAM vendors and CAD-CAM products and all kinds of products use XML. If you have questions about that, I would contact the support team. I know there is a video on YouTube that covers how to edit it. I personally haven't edited one, to be honest, right? I haven't done everything, right? But I know that it's not all that complicated. There's a variable list similar to setting up a post processor. So I would just talk with the support team and they'll help you out with that. Okay, so again, I went in, I changed the material, it updates the speeds and feeds. By no way is this job set up for what the actual speeds and feeds and cutting data would be, more so about the workflow of setting up the toolpath features and being able to understand some of the structure of the CAM tree, right? So, but the point of changing the material here, you can't just change the material and expect the depth of cut and width of cut and all that stuff to be set up correctly. But as you do make adjustments to your speeds and feeds, it will be reported in the toolpath statistics, in the setup sheet, or anything else, right? So let's go back to toolpath statistics and see what we got. So again, this lists out everything, and you can go to either the individual operation, you can click on the feature, and this will give you detailed information back as far as what's going on with that. Great for reporting, great for process planning, great for quoting, great for just getting familiar with the software too. Definitely another good feature for you guys. Okay, so that's the toolpath statistics. Now, again, I kind of talked about the flyouts a little bit here. Again, this is new to the V32. You do have the ability to turn the flyouts off. So if you're a 31 or earlier customer, this is what your CAM tree would look like. Okay, if you are a 32 customer, you can turn the flyouts on. Now, again, some of the cool things about these flyouts is it will display like top level editing settings. Okay, so these are things like speeds and feeds, right? So right now it's using speeds and feeds. If I wanted to update the speeds and feeds for this operation, I can do it right here without having to go into the feature. Okay, so again, new to V32, but this is just a great way to get top level information about that feature or that operation with the ability to edit some different settings. Okay, like another one that I like a lot is for the machine setup here. I have my work offset shift. These numbers I use to position the part where it's at on my virtual machine, so I can make that adjustment here. The other thing I can do is I can edit the clearance plane. This is the in between jobs and operation clearance plane, and I can also edit that here versus having to edit the machine setup and doing it down here. Okay, so again, it's just quicker and easier. Are they bringing the flyouts to V8? It's a great question. I have done some initial training on the V8. There's some really cool ToolPaths that they're adding into that, and some some goodies are coming that way. I don't recall whether the flyouts are there. I believe they will be, though. Okay, I haven't installed a copy of like a beta of V8 at this point, but I believe that will be there. Okay, let's see. So we got our ToolPal Flyouts again. Or CAM tree flyouts. Anywhere you see the little double arrows, this will give you information about it. You want to change the program number, you can do that there. If you want to look at your tools, some of them it just lists information, so this will show you your tool information. If you go to the stock, this has got your min, max, and totals. Okay, so just a neat little tool that they added to the software, and I think you guys will really appreciate that. Now, another thing I want to touch on real quick, you'll notice in my programs here, I have this just like a generic header. There's a lot of different things you can do in this header. One of the things you can do, if you wanted a tool list, the tool numbers and tool label, you can put a tool header in your post. Okay, so you can talk with the support team and they can help you with that, or you can edit the post yourself in order to do that. But another section that you may want in here is some comments for the operator as far as maybe where the position of the part is or something along those lines, right? So if we get into our job here and we right click and go to current settings, you'll find this comments section here. You can type in up to 15 comments. And this could be notes about, different operations and things like that. All right. So you could come in here and type this stuff in. I'm just going to say sample code. Now, if you put a comment in here and you post it and that comment doesn't come out, then that means that variable for your post processor isn't set up properly. Here you can see I wrote sample code and sample code comes along. All right. So that's a little bit about the flyouts and information. Now, another one, again, this is reporting and posting, right? Reporting and posting. Let me kind of spend just a little bit of time on some of the posting stuff. Okay, you can see here I'm calling subprograms in my job. Okay, so I get some prep codes at the top, and then it's calling the subprogram, and all the subprograms are going to be listed down here at the bottom. Okay, if I go to my job and I right click and go to current settings, I can go to posting. Okay, so if I'm in my current job, current settings, I can come through here and I can decide whether I want subprograms or not. Now, we've been able to do subprograms for a long time, but they did make some adjustments to the way subprograms are posted now. We used to make certain decisions, what we thought made sense with the subprograms. Now there's a little less of that, so you can subprogram out your operations. And this is working great with the toolpath work offset pattern. So really happy with that. But again, if you want to turn off the subprograms, you can turn it off here. If you want to turn it on, you can turn it on here. There are some options in here. Are you posting in absolute? Are you posting in incremental? G90, G91. If you click on either of these buttons and it doesn't change the mode of the post, like if it doesn't go from, you can see this is G90, let's set this to incremental, choose OK. I feel like I would have to recompute it, but maybe I'm wrong. But if we go ahead and we post it, if the G90 doesn't turn to a G91, then that means we're not using a certain post variable to switch it. Okay, depending on how your post processor is set up, you could draw an inch and post in metric. You could draw in metric and post in inch. You could always post in the units of the drawing. You can use the toggles to turn absolute and incremental on and off. So you have a lot of different options there. How do I get the comment? Sorry, I was running my machine. The comment is under milling jobs, current settings, comments. This is where you can type in all your comments. And again, if that doesn't post in your program, it's because you don't have a post variable set up correctly. Okay. Same thing with the incremental and absolute. Post setting would be based on the variable in the post, and then you could swap from incremental to absolute. Again, you know, if we look at my code over here, you can see I have all these line numbers. Okay, we don't have to have line numbers on every block. You could just put line numbers on tool changes. Okay, again, that's easily done with your post processor. There's a lot of very simple customization you can do, really anybody can do to your post to get this stuff dialed in. Op stops at the end of the operation, you know, tool numbers just for tool calls, staging tools, list of tool program, or list of tool list at your header. All of those things are possible with the post processor, and really just average skill set. If you get into some logic and script writing, then you need to go a little bit higher with the the post API and advanced posting blocks. All right, the next thing I want to, well, let me get back into current settings here. Okay, so we're going to go to current settings. You know, there's some machine settings here. Another notable setting, maximum cutting feed rate. This is a little confusing, but this is your link back value when you're using adaptive. When it's a non-cutting motion, the feed rate that it would be posted at. Maximum spindle, if you're trying to type in 20K and you're on a router and it's not posting out 20K and it's stuck at 10, that's because your machine setting is set to, you know, 10,000 RPM limit, right? Rapid feed, I think this is more so used for simulation to help with the quoting. I don't know, because a G00 is your rapid, so I'm pretty sure that's just for simulation. Okay, there is another section in here called multi-axis posting. If you guys are Mill Pro or Mill like 4-axis Pro, 5-axis Pro, Mill Turn, there's a lot of different settings in here. I'm not going to get into that here today, but you know, there's different ways in which we compensate for the tool, different ways that we handle limits and solutions. So this is all your 4 or 5-axis advanced posting settings. Okay, all right, let's see here. I want to get back into the tree again, reporting and posting. So I don't know how much of a reporting tool this is, but I find it super helpful to just go to an operation and choose backplot. Okay, as I'm plotting through here, I can see the tool in the holder. You know, maybe it's not doing collision checking for me. Okay, but what it is doing is it is reporting information about, you know, where it starts, start direction, end, and then also the feed rate that it's at with that line of code. Okay, or that motion. So we can see these are all regular feed rates as I go through there. So not only is this helpful for where the tool starts and where the tool ends, it's also very helpful for what feed rate mode it might be in at that time. Okay, and again, even though this video is not about the toolpath editor, we do have a toolpath editor in here. Within this editor, you do have a variety of different ways that you could directly edit the code. This solves the scenario of, you know, you got 90% of your toolpath dialed in perfect, but there's just 10% that you need to trim off or change or modify. And this toolpath editor gives you a lot of functionality to do that. Okay. One of the things that you can do is you can modify the feed rates, right? So if you want to speed up or slow down in different areas, you have the control to do that. I'm going to come in here and modify attributes. I'm going to select this line here. I'm going to choose, that's the toolpath entity that I want to work with. And then I'm going to say user defined, and I'm going to say 100. Execute. Okay, so I edited that toolpath. We're going to get a little lock symbol. You can't change it. I could edit it again, or if I unlock it and recompute it, it will reset. But the reason why I showed you this is so that we can see right here within this backplot, as I change that feed rate is now displayed what the actual feed rate is in the backplot. Okay, so that's a little bit about backplot. Again, let me unlock this. Let's recompute it so that goes away. I'm going to right click, go to backplot. Okay, you have 3 different rendering modes, so you can be in shaded, transparent, or wireframe. In the shaded mode, you can step through line by line, and again, this is just to help you see what's going on. All right, a couple other things before I get into simulation. We can post, and then when we post, it will preview in this window over here. Okay. This is a new feature in here. You can select code from here, right click, and copy code out of there. Okay, so this is new. So you have the ability to do that. This code here is just a preview. The main reason why I'll post before I post and save as is to verify, do I have the right post processor selected, to get a little preview of the code. What do I see going on? If I'm testing out or editing a post processor and configuring it, I'll post and just review the code here. Okay, so you can copy it out. Copy sections of it, just like copy and paste, right click copy, be able to paste it. Also, after you've posted it in this window, you can right click, save as to save it out into a directory, or you could open that code in one of the editors. Okay, so that's a little bit about just posting. Now, the other option that you have here is where you do post and save as. Okay, post and save as will write the code and ask you where you want to save it at one time. Now, which method you choose to use is really up to you, but I just want you to be aware, if you just click post, it previews over here. If you choose post and save as, then you can choose where you want to save it to. All right, so that's good, All right, now let's get into some toolpath. Now, I'm gonna turn some of these off, right? So let me turn them all off. Post yes, no. And let's turn the face on. Let's turn the pilot hole on. And let's turn inside pocket on 1. Okay, so I'm just turning a few of them on. I'm going to launch simulation here. And I want to talk about some of the solid simulation tools that we have. And again, if you guys are just joining us, if you have any questions about posting or reporting, you can fire it away at any time. Every question is a great question. We're here to do these webinars to help with these types of questions. So if you got something, don't be nervous, okay? Just go ahead and fire away. Tom, Walter, Ray, Mike, don't worry about it. It'll be okay, all right? Okay, so I'm in simulation, and again, we're talking about reporting. Okay, so there are a lot of options in here, and I've said this before on other videos and in webinars that I've done. Under this view section, okay, so we're on view. These are all the different tools that are available, right? And if you click on one, that option becomes available. All right, so this is the move list. The move list shows the operations that are being posted, and then you can, double click through here and be able to work your way down the simulation as far as what you want to see. Okay, you can turn the move list off by re-clicking it, or you can turn the move list back on. All right, so you have the move list. The other one you have here is analysis the toolpath. This is the way your toolpath is rendered. Okay, there are a bunch of different tools that you can use. Something like sequence will show warmer colors at the start and cooler colors at the end. This is great for 3D. Mark, if you can't get to the CAM tree, it's likely one of your docking panes is missing. And I'll go back and address that in a second. Can I change the mouse button rotate in simulation to match my screen? They're actually two different systems, so you don't have control over the way the simulation navigation works and the way the CAD screen navigation works. Okay, so you're a little limited as far as that goes. How can I post an M00 after the operation to move clamps, for example? Steve, if we have time, I'll get into the post on how to edit that. You can add custom blocks of code after an operation or before a tool change or after a tool change, and really not too difficult to do. Okay, when we're, and I'll get to that here in a second if I have time. Again, this is sequence. The one that I like to use a lot here is feed rate. So I can see which ones are my machining feed rates, which ones are my rapid. The other one that I like to use a lot here is height change. Okay, so I can turn that on. Let's go rendering. Let's see all of them. Visibility. Let's hide the stock. Let me restart this. Let's see. Toolpath. Let me turn those off. Let me turn that off. All ops. Trace. Okay. So here we can see all of the different toolpaths. So what I'm showing here is the different rendering options that we have in here. So I could set this to height change. I could set this to sequence, okay? Warmer colors is at the beginning, cooler colors are at the end. So this will help you visualize things, right? We can come in here and do height change. This one I use a lot. Single marking, it will just make it all one color, okay? So this way you can... render your toolpath and be able to visually see what's going on without having to do too much work. You can make this by tool number as well. Okay, you can come in here and you can change, you know, if you want this to be a different color. You can make that a different color. All right, so you have some different options as far as that goes. All right, again, I'm going to keep this on height change and then I'll close it out. Let's go back to view. Now, okay, so you have a bunch of different tools. I do recommend you go in here and pick a mode for rendering of your toolpath that you would like. Another area that I want to talk about real quick is capture graphics area. If you want to do a screen capture of your simulation in process, you can click this button and it'll capture an image of that screen, okay? Mine generally saves to the my pictures, and then there's a folder. Mock Sim is where they go into. This one is for a video. You can say capture video. You know, now you can run through your simulation and play this, be able to see what's going on. Then when it's done, you can come back, stop capture. It just created a video. That's great if you're running into some problems and you want to send it into support, or maybe you want to show a client or a potential client what the toolpath's going to do, or how you're going to process that part. You can create a video of that process, okay? Again, the move list, that's going to show all the operations that are being processed. The toolpath analysis, this is different ways that you can render your toolpath so you can be able to visually see what's happening without having to guess. Like I said, I use this height change quite a bit. Statistics, this is going to give you all kinds of information about the job, right? So posting and reporting, cycle time estimates, distance traveled, to-go distances, tool center point position. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in here. So you can get into these statistics and learn about the move, the operation, or the sequence, again, to help you make better decisions. How do I change default post processor? All right, when I get back out of the simulation, we'll talk about that. All right, statistics will turn off. This is the machine definition. This one, if you're, let me see, if you're doing 4 or 5 axis machine building and you have machine simulation, you can click on the machine configuration within simulation, and it will give you feedback as far as direction and checking group, you know, what's being checked. This will give you visual feedback. Again, very, very helpful when you're trying to set directions and things like that. All right. Simulation settings, you know, stop at tool change, stop at all operations, stop at a specific operation, stop on a certain block of code, stop on bookmarks. You know, you have a lot of different options as far as the way the simulation will run so that you can see what's going on. Again, that's under your simulation tab. Reporting, you get, you know, collision checking and approximate gouge checking and things like that. Again, for machine simulation. So a lot of different tools in here. This is your progress bar. You can mount this down to the bottom. You could speed up the job or slow it down and let it process at that point. Okay, that's your process. Axis control. This is going to show the limits of your machine. You know, as far as what the limits are. Again, this is helpful when you're trying to lay out jobs, machine building, you know, seeing what, you know, is the C and Y rotating and stuff like that. Okay, cut sim. Let me turn this off. Okay, so in cut sim, there's your accuracy. Okay, if you're dealing with very large files, if you're dealing with very large files, I generally recommend to reduce the accuracy, but this is the accuracy of the simulation. If you increase it, it's increasing like the triangles that are being used to develop that solid model. Okay, you'll notice this will turn red to refresh because, again, we changed what our starting stock was. So normally I run this lower, but I'll increase or decrease it as necessary. Now, there are some checking things that are going on here, but that's not where I want to focus on right at this particular moment. I want to focus on the Advanced Properties tab. Okay, so let me close this again. Let's go to View. Okay, this is under Cut Sim. All right, and under Cut Sim, you have this Advanced Properties tab here. And under the Advanced Properties tab, there's a couple of things you can do. You could save the stock after each operation. You can adjust the offset target for your part. These are some tolerances when you're using the gouge and excess option. But more importantly is just this section plane here. This gives you the ability to do your cutaway views of your model. You can adjust which axis that it's being referenced on. You know, like right now this is going in Y, so I could make this 1, and then I could make this 0, and then now it will cut it from that direction in order for me to be able to cut away the part. I think I can make this a negative, and then it switches which side it works from, right? So this is so you can get some cutaway views. I don't know if you can do 2 at the same time. I don't know that. Yeah, I guess you can. I've never actually even tried that, but you can use these normal options in order to help you with a section view of your simulation to be able to see inside features and things like that. Okay, so again, that's under Advanced Properties, enable section plane, and then you can make adjustments to the normal values in order to change where exactly that section plane is happening. Okay. All right. The other area that I want to get to, this one is save stock. Okay. This is gonna just go right in and allow you to save your stock. You choose a directory. This way you can save out your in-process stock. Okay. All right. That's a little bit about Cut Sim. This analysis, this one is for your, so there's analysis of the toolpath, but then there's analysis of your machined stock or your machine part, right? So again, similar to the toolpath, there's a bunch of options in here. You can have no rendering for your tool color. You can see that we're doing none. We can come in here and have it render the cutout based off the tool number. We can base it off the operation number. You know, if you're trying to find leftover material and things like that, you can come in and go to deviation. Deviation will allow you to set a range of tolerances, and then it will paint the model with different colors based on how much material is left over. So this is also a very useful tool. Again, I recommend you just kind of turn one of them at a time and go through some of the options until you get comfortable with what those options are. Okay, again, you have some measure options. points and distances. You can remove chips. Chips is when you cut through the stock and there's a material cut free. You can either have that displayed, or you could click it to delete it, or you could have the software automatically remove it. So again, just different options there. Okay, so that's kind of a quick rundown of some of these features in here. Okay, verification, gouge and excess report. Again, this is like a global setting to be able to just see where you're at. If there's any gouges, you can apply a refine for a close-up view. You can reset your refine. Okay, we're going to go in the simulation here. There's a couple of different simulation modes. NC mode, time-based mode, length mode, so you can be able to view the simulation speed in different ways. You can turn machine focus on, you could turn tool focus on. Again, just different ways in which you're going to be rendering. These are all your standard views: top, front, left, right, all that kind of stuff. There also is, inside a simulation, there's also a right mouse menu. Okay, window zoom, you have pick dynamic point rotation. You can pick a point to be able to rotate from, especially when you're in larger assemblies. Let me do that again. So we're gonna zoom out a bit, right? I'm gonna right click. It looks like double right click. Okay, pick point dynamic rotation. I pick a position and then I'm gonna rotate around that position. Okay. I'm just going to escape the cancel, double right click. Again, this is just visibility of things that you can turn on or off. Viewports, capture areas, things like that. All right, let me see what else do I want to cover here. Visibility, if we go to the visibility section, again, this is where you can turn on, is the tool displayed? Is the tool not displayed? Is the tool path displayed? Is your fixture displayed? Is your workpiece displayed? What mode of display is it in? Okay, those are all those options. There's another section in here for your toolpaths. This one I think is pretty important. This is toolpath points, especially as you get into more multi-axis and surface-based machining. You will want to see the density of these points and the consistency of them, because they play a big role in simulation. Can we rotate an STL file to be used as operation stock in the editor for Op2? If you're using STL stock, you don't select STL stock from the screen. You select STL stock from a directory. If you wanted to modify the STL stock, you could open up the STL, rotate it, save it, and then when you're assigning it as your stock, it would be in position. So that's how you would handle that. All right, let me see. I got just a couple minutes left here. What else did I want to get into in here? A couple of other settings for you guys. If we click on this machine icon in here and we go into options, there are some additional options that you can turn on or off for the display and what is being considered for simulation. So not enough time to get into that, but you have options. Do you want the world rotation cube? Do you want the machine center? Do you want a ruler, a measure grid, different colors? There's a bunch of different options that are in here to help you refine your simulation experience. So I do recommend you look through that just a little bit. Hey, no problem, Richard. Thanks for spending some time with us here today. All right, let me see what else I have here. Toolpath rendering, save stock as STL, cut through for simulation, recording simulation. We did the CAM tree flyouts, toolpath statistics. Let's see here. User comments. I think I've covered a big portion of what I was looking to cover here today. So I want to thank all of you for spending some time with me here. And again, with BobCAD, you guys can expect fewer steps, better cuts, and more profit. And you guys, if you have any questions about the BobCAD system, configuration, posting, functionality, just give us a call, 877-333-4903. Again, that's 877-333-4903. Thank you, everybody, for spending some time with me here today. And I do look forward to seeing you in the next one.